We are officially mortgage free. It kind of almost doesn't feel real. I feel like that's something that a lot of people really set out to do right in life, to buy and own a home. But obviously when you purchase a home, like, you don't truly like own that home until you pay it off, and you've taken out a loan and you got to pay the bank back that money. You've got a mortgage, and there's just so many things attached to home ownership where you truly don't really own that home until you have paid it off and don't owe the bank or anyone else any more money. And that just happened today, which is a really cool feeling. And we've done it before with 2 of our other properties, of which we just sold and ultimately took some of the profits from those sales to pay off our home here in Arizona so that we could be mortgage free. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that process and how I got there and why we did it in this video. Got to put my phone on airplane mode so that doesn't keep happening. Otherwise, that is going to keep happening. So if you've been following me on socials or this channel, I've touched on recently how I sold my film ranch, the Eclectic West, and I sold my Hudson property, both of which were paid off properties. And ultimately, when trying to decide what we were going to do with that money, my wife and I just kind of came to the conclusion that we should just pay our house off. We're in a phase right now where we're trying to work on and grow our businesses while raising a family, while trying to have more kids, and there's a lot going on. And I think just where we're at the stage in our lives, and me personally, where I'm at the stage in my life, I would just love that security blanket. I've taken a lot of risks in my life. I've started a lot of businesses. I've done a lot. And at this point, I would love to just hunker down and focus on my art, my craft, and one of my main businesses, which is Prism Lens Effects and our studios. And I think having a paid off house really eases that burden of having to worry about things, and I can just kind of focus in and hone on that and just know that my family and I will always have a place to lay our heads. And so I think ultimately that was like a decision that we came to rather than go invest that money into another property or another business or whatever it is, right? Start something new, invest in something new. Why not just pay off our house and become mortgage free? So that was kind of the decision and why we decided to do that. And yeah, it feels really good. My wife got really emotional in the car afterwards, and yeah, I'll probably just play that clip right here so you guys can see that.
Hey, what you didn't realize is, watch out. It's like all the work you were putting in, like all those years when you're in your 20s and all that shit that led to this, you know what I mean? Like, although those dollars have probably been spent, it's just the name that you established for yourself years down the road. What is that, 13, 14 years down the road, or 15 years down the road, is what led to us being able to do that. And so it's just like, when you really think about it in those terms, that's a long time coming,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just grateful and emotional.
You did it.
Yeah. I just did not think that was good. I did not even feel the slightest bit of emotional walking in there. Not even like, oh, I'm so excited. I just felt fine, but I don't know. I think it's like the security blanket that it provides.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of things.
So just to give a little context into kind of the numbers and the sale and the purchase, just the history of this whole thing, right? And I think why we decided to pay the house off early versus, extending the loan over the 30-year fixed loan that most mortgages and loans are. And instead we paid it off after 7 years because I bought the house in 2018. I'll just kind of dive into those numbers now. But bought the house in 2018 for $550,000 or $555,000, and, you know, put 20% down. And I put 20% down to not get or have to pay mortgage insurance, because if you pay anything less than 20% down, then you have to also have this extra payment every month to have, you know, for mortgage insurance. So put 20% down, which I believe was around $111,000, which means my loan amount, I have it written down here somewhere. The loan amount in 2018 that I got to finance the rest of the house was $439,000. So basically, once that $439,000 is, you know, paid back over the course of 30 years via principal, mortgage, interest, all interest payments, everything, then I would own the home. And so just to show like how much your money when you buy a home is just in those early years and throughout the 30 years, it's just going to interest, not even towards the principal on the loan. You know, I have in 7 years, all of our payments, only $61,000, a little over $61,000 went to paying down the actual principal on that loan. The rest went to interest. So in the 7 years of owning the home, $61,000 went to paying down that loan, that principal loan, and then over $130,000 went to interest. So that mortgage payment we're making every month, you know, a huge majority of that is just interest payments. That's how these banks are making money, right? And have you for that course of that 30-year loan. That's where they're making their money. Like I said, 7 years, all the payments we made over 7 years, only $61,000 of that went to paying down that loan amount, which is crazy. And yeah, obviously, like I just said, interest over $130,000. And then by paying it off early and not extending it the course of that 30-year, you know, payment plan, the mortgage, will ultimately save, I believe, I did the math, it was like over $230,000 in interest payments we'll save. So just having that money readily available in our bank from the sale, it just made sense, like, hey, let's just pay off this house. Now we'll save hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next, you know, 20 some years. We can put that towards other investments, or we can save it. We could just live, you know, a little more financially free. We don't have to, if we want to go do something, like we can just do it without having to think about anything, right? And so ultimately, I think that's why we made the decision to pay it off early. It's just safety net, safety blanket, comfort. You know, I think everyone, if they could, would make the decision to live mortgage free. And so being able to make that decision and have that ability, it just made sense to do that. So praise God that He has blessed us and our businesses and our craft, and we've been able to make enough money and save enough money to do that. And I'm just very, very, very thankful for that, and for my wife for being, which now she's been in my life over 9 years now. I think as of like a week ago, we've been together 9 years, married for 4. So yeah, pretty crazy. So one last final thought. I just realized as I was editing the video that I didn't kind of have these closing thoughts on the equity and the value in this property now. So that's why I'm filming this, change the scenery. I'm in my backyard of the house that I'm talking about, the paid off property. And I wanted to talk on the equity really quick and the value of the property and that asset that we are now sitting on, right? So now that I've paid off the property and we own the property, you know, I had bought the home in 2018 for $555,000. It is now worth probably around $1 million. And I've talked about that in the Hudson video where I talked about selling Hudson. I'd bought that property back in 2016 for $205,000, sold it for $410,000. And doubled my money there, and that property was also paid off. So when I did sell that property, that was just a huge injection of cash to us, which we used to pay off this house ultimately, instead of deciding to like reinvest that other way in other areas. And yeah, I think it's good to know that we are now sitting on and we own and have an asset worth north of $1 million, especially just with all of the updates and renovations we've done to the outside of the house, inside of the house, the backyard. I would I would bet we could sell this house for 1.2, 1.3 million if we wanted to. That's not our plan, but we look at this property as almost like a very just long-term, almost like retirement plan. We don't plan to sell this house ever. If we were to ever go buy and move into another house, we would for sure just, especially since this property is paid off, either rent it out to a long-term person, long-term tenant, family, or do a short-term rental Airbnb, because as you can see, the yard would make for and home would make for a great Airbnb house that would make us a lot of money every month. But especially since it's paid off, that would be just like straight profit. But all that being said, like we're now sitting on an asset that is worth over $1 million, which is very valuable for a variety of things. But who knows? Also, like if we never sell this house and come 40 years from now we decide to sell it, that is a huge chunk of cash that we now have for retirement. Should we not even invest in anything else or do any other retirement stuff, like when we go to do that, that certainly could act as our retirement fund, retirement money. So yeah, I say all this to say, like, there needs to be more people who are doing what I'm doing in this industry, sharing that information or knowledge. Obviously, there's tons of filmmaking channels out there that want to share the latest and greatest gear. Buy this, buy that, talk about this. And it's like, I do that too, right? I want to motivate and inspire a lot of you guys and create content that educates you in the filmmaking space, the creative space, the entrepreneurial space, how to run your business. That's all great. But I think it's important for people in the position that like I'm in to also share knowledge and value of how to set yourself up for your future and for your family's future, and how to get creative with your money and how to invest that money wisely. Because yeah, all these, sure, there's financial channels out there, but maybe a lot of these filmmakers or creatives don't follow these channels or don't even know where to find that information, or never will find that information because they don't follow those channels. So as someone who is a filmmaker, who also I feel like has done a pretty decent job of finding unique ways to invest my money in, whether that's real estate or business opportunities or whatever, I should share that with you guys to hopefully motivate and inspire you guys to do the same. And I think that's important. I think it's important to share, because I was just a high schooler who loved shooting videos, who turned into a college kid who went to film school, started shooting music videos, editing music videos, moved to LA. I had no money to my name, built a name, reputation, and was able to build a successful career off music videos and turn that into financial freedom for myself. And now it's exciting that I get to wake up every day and work on my businesses, growing my businesses, from Prism Lens Effects, from our film studios, Tropicolor, all of that, while creatively getting to choose the projects I want to work on without having to I got to take this job because I need the paycheck. Like, I get to pick the projects that I want to work on, and I also get to create the projects that I want to work on. Like when I host the horror film contest every year, that is something that is creatively fulfilling, and I love doing it for the community. And then I love going to make my own film, and I can do that because of the groundwork that I've laid and the things that I've done like this. So yeah, hopefully this video inspires, motivates some of you guys that are just getting started to aim towards this kind of as like a North Star goal. And maybe there's some of you right now that are getting to that spot of where you own a home, or you're buying a home, or maybe you already own a home, and you now realize oh yeah, I should pay off this, I don't know, whatever, right? I just hope that this video motivates and inspires and educates some people in some type of way, because I had a guy at NAB come up to me and tell me that a lot of the information I shared is the reason he just bought his first house. And that's very, very cool. I don't know if there's many filmmakers and creatives out there that can say that they've not only inspired people in the creative space, but have also helped them financially. And so I want to continue to share this information because I think it's valuable. And yeah, if you have any comments, questions, drop them in the comment section below. I'll be here to answer anything. And yeah, just appreciate you guys. Comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, obviously. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.